Hello and welcome to She Talks, a series where we talk to women who are independent, strong, and driven by purpose. My name is Richa Sana, and I'm the founder of She Wealth. She Talks is an initiative of She Wealth through which I get to share time and space with amazing women entrepreneurs. And we have a very special guest with us today. Please join me as I welcome Anoushka Sabnis, founder of Biblioverse. Hi, Anoushka. And
Hello.
the reason she's so special is because she's so young. And we can't wait to hear her story of what she does, the startup she runs, and how she manages it all. So, Anushka, first of all, welcome on this show. I'm so glad to have you.
I'm so glad to be here. Thank you.
So, Anushka, tell me something. Uh, we understand that you run a startup called Biblioverse. Of course, we want to deep dive into that and understand more about what you do, how you do, what Biblioverse is, what is the vision that you have for Biblioverse. But tell us a little about you, because we'd like to know the entrepreneur behind the startup. So, you know, where do you live? What do you do?
Okay. Hi, I am Anoushka. I'm 16 years old. I'm from Delhi and I am currently in 12th grade. I love reading, writing, baking, debating, and Biblioverse actually stems from my love of reading and writing. When I was 7 years old, I started a little book club in my residential society called Anoushka's Book Club, ABC. Very innovative. And I basically lent my books to my friends because I realized that I loved reading, but most of my classmates did not. And it really saddened me to see that they were missing out on this entire world of fantasy and beauty. And so I wanted them to be able to read what I was reading. And that's where ABC started. Then in 2019, that turned into a larger book lending come discussion service. So it was a book club, but it was also like a little neighborhood library. And then when COVID hit us, we had to go online. So the physical book lending could not happen. And that's when Biblioverse truly became what it is today. A
Oh,
community of
okay,
young
okay,
readers
okay.
and
So there's already a lot happening. So you say that you started when you were 7 years old, and something that gradually and primarily it stemmed from your love for reading, essentially, and and then it became like a book club where you would invite friends from your neighborhood to come and borrow books from you. But then isn't that something that a lot of kids do anyways? I mean, sharing books. What is the business angle here? Why would you call yourself an entrepreneur? Was there how did you make this a business?
so even when I was seven, when I was devising the entire plan for ABC, I thought that I should have a business angle to it, which means it had to be profitable. And I came up with a little 1 rupee fee per every book lent out. And in the first month or so of ABC, when I was seven and a half, I earned 146 rupees, a number which I still remember. That was the first earning I ever had. And then in 2019, we raised the price to 10 rupees per book. And every week, all the members would come, they would pay their 10, 20 rupees and get all the books they wanted. That's where the business angle truly came in. And then when we went online, we conducted a lot of online competitions, which had, of course, fees attached to that. And we also created online courses. Currently, they are free, but
Okay,
they are
let me interject you. Why did you feel the need to go online? Because your neighborhood book lending was working just fine. Why did you feel the need to go online?
So till 2019, everything was offline, physical. But then there were two reasons why we truly went online. First, when COVID hit, there was no way we could have done the physical give and take of books. And so online, we started to form a community on Instagram so that our members could still stay in touch with us, still see what's going on, have some book reviews, some book recommendations. And then the second reason was that I realized I really wanted to scale Biblioverse up. I did not want it to just be a neighborhood book lending service, but I wanted to build it into a large community of young readers and writers, because I never had that as a 10, 11, 12-year-old. I still don't see any other platform that is giving young readers and writers a space to connect, learn, and share from one another. And so I wanted to create that for everyone. And that's, I think, the major reason why we went online, just to really be able to expand our audience and reach a larger number of people.
Okay. So if I were to rephrase my question, which essentially was going to be the next thing that I would have asked you, what is the problem that you're trying to solve? Because every business basically tries to solve a problem and for a certain set of audience. What is the problem here that you're solving and for whom?
The problem is lack of a community for young readers and writers. Reading is seen as a very isolated activity, which it doesn't have to be. The problem is that reading is seen as something that is not social, that you have to do alone in one corner of your room. And I want to change that perception of reading and writing itself. And that is the problem I'm trying to solve. And Biblioverse is a community for teenagers as well as people maybe in their early to mid 20s. So it's 13 to 25, which we are targeting, mainly teenagers, because as we've seen on all our social media platforms and on traffic on our website, the largest chunk of people attracted to the idea of Biblioverse is between 13 to 18 years. So that is the main audience I'm catering to.
Wow. And what is the what are the platforms that you're present on currently? Okay, let me try and put it the other way around. If Biblioverse is a community, where is this community residing today?
So we are on a lot of social media platforms. We are on Instagram, we're on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. We also have a website and a mobile app available both on Google Play Store as well as App Store. So our main community, which is the Biblioverse forum, where members can actually talk to one another, post, share content, form groups, that is on the Biblioverse mobile app. On the website, you have a general overview of what we are, what we stand for, and a way to join Biblioverse as a team member. And on our social media, we put out regular content, book reviews, book recommendations, writing tips for aspiring writers. We have memes. We have Book Nook, a series of beautiful bookshelves. So that's just a lot of content we're putting out there to kind of gather an audience, and then we are directing that audience to the website and the mobile app.
Awesome, awesome. Wow. Uh, how big is your community today?
So since we went online in 2020, we have gathered around 2,600 people across all the social media platforms. Our app currently has around 60 downloads on all platforms combined. And we have people from 12 to 13 countries. So it's really expanding really fast, and I am very happy about it. And I want to go global. I want this to explode. I want this everywhere.
And you say you have an audience which is typically 13 to 25 years old, from about 12 countries. Like, uh, where where do you see most of your chunk coming from, your members?
So the largest chunk is naturally from India, but a few of our top countries are the US, UK, Canada, and South Africa.
Wow, awesome. Anushka, tell me something. What do you envision for Biblioverse? Of course, I understand you started as a small kid trying to get friends to read. You have a huge audience today. You have a big membership base. What really do you want Biblioverse to stand for? And what are you trying to inculcate in people through your initiative?
I want Biblioverse to be the go-to space for any reader and writer, especially young readers and writers. The way people think of Instagram or Facebook as the social media networking platform, I want people to think of Biblioverse when they think of reading and writing. And I want to turn it into a community activity, which is why I am making Biblioverse available on all sorts of technology. I also want Biblioverse to have a lot of work in AI as well, because I've seen a lot of people, they're kind of running away from AI, but I want to truly utilize AI to create an amazing experience for anyone who logs on to Biblioverse. Right now, we have a community feature. You can chat, you can read blogs, you can post blogs of your own. But I also want people to be able to write on Biblioverse, the platform itself. I have a few ideas for an AI-based writing dashboard, which is one of my main future goals. I also want to be able to conduct large-scale events like literature festivals, albeit online. But I basically want to be able to connect people from all corners of the world with the one thread, which is reading and writing. Because I haven't seen that anywhere, and I want to be able to do that. As for
Okay,
inculcating value,
yeah,
as
please.
for inculcating value, I want to attract the attention of non-readers and writers as well. Not because I'm looking down on them, but because I want them to have a taste of this world of reading and writing through my content, through our community. And I want to inculcate these habits of reading and a hobby of writing in the people who haven't yet explored it. And I want to provide a safe space for those people as well who are complete beginners to all of this.
All right. So you are essentially addressing the entire spectrum of non-readers to reading enthusiasts. That is awesome. As a parent, and I'm sure many other people who would be watching this would understand. At various points in our lives, we've always wanted our kids to pick up a book, read, develop a reading habit, and I see so many of my friends or young parents struggling with that. Children do not read as much as parents would like them to. And so is that the whole idea behind trying to make Biblioverse a community activity? Because, just going back to what you said a little while ago, reading has been seen as a very isolated activity. Maybe you're an introvert and hence you're reading, you don't want to socialize and hence you're reading, you don't want to step out of the house. So, you snuggled in. With this, essentially, what you're trying to do is that you are making it like a community driven activity, which I think is a very unique take on the entire reading, writing, hobby, if we would call that. Anushka, I'm sure you would have been asked this a lot because I also know that you've been to a lot of literature festivals, you've spoken at events and forums on children's literature, and just the whole habit of reading and writing. Uh, is there something you want to say to parents or teachers? I mean, adults in the lives of a child, in how they can probably encourage their children or their students to pick this up as a habit?
I think the best thing an adult can do for a child in their life is to make all activities seem fun. And I'm not even talking about just reading or writing as a hobby right now. I'm talking about everything from homework to extracurriculars to sports. If you present an idea to your child as fun, they will want to engage in it. If we look specifically at reading and writing, if you want children and teenagers around you to read and write, don't label reading and writing as activities that nerdy or academically inclined children do, because a lot of parents I've seen, and even teachers, they tend to do that. They tend to label the children around them as, this child studies well, so this child reads, this child doesn't, so this child socializes. There are a few kind of stereotypes that have just been set, and they're very wrong, because then they inhibit non-readers and writers from even venturing into the space. So I think it is very important for the adults to make their children, to let their children know that any activity is worth exploring, and any activity can be fun, and you don't have to do it alone. As I said, as you also said, it doesn't have to be isolated. You can gather 5 friends of yours, sit in a room, have chips, have coffee, and read, discuss a book. You can kind of ricochet ideas off of one another and write a story, do slam poetry. Getting introduced to reading and writing, it doesn't have to be something you have to religiously do from 6 to 7 p.m. in the evening just because you want to build a habit of reading, because that will never happen. It'll become boring, mundane, and your child will not want to do that.
Tell me something. Why, and I'm going back to a very fundamental question. Why is reading and writing so important that it should be encouraged by, so many people, or even your venture? Why is it so important? What, of course, you read and then it's a fun thing to do. But really, why so much hype around reading and writing? What does it teach you besides reading and writing?
So there are a few technical skills that you learn, of course, when you read or you write. There's vocabulary enhancement, fluency of language, use of creative words, and all of that is on one side. But reading and writing really opens you up to the different worlds that exist. And I'm not talking about a multiverse or parallel universe concept here. When you read a book, say you read The Diary of Anne Frank, you're not only reading a book and entertaining yourself, but you're educating yourself on a very big event in history. You're educating yourself on the Second World War. If you read a fantasy book, which has no bearing in real life, maybe you read Harry Potter, you're still opening your mind up to so much scope for creativity and imagination. When you read different worlds, you are able to come up with your own worlds. And I think that
I think,
imagination,
yeah, and I think it also maybe instills a sense of empathy in you. You become that much more accepting of different kinds of people and culture and places around you.
absolutely.
So, yes, well, of course. Anushka, tell me something, and this is something I'm very intrigued by. You are 16, right? You said. And where do you get so much clarity from?
I think I get it from my books. I have become so many characters in the thousands of books that I have read that I know of so many different perspectives on. Okay, it's a bit philosophical of me to say life because I am 16, but it is true. When you read so much, when you get to step into the shoes of so many different kinds of people, different kinds of animal people, hybrids, fairies and monsters, you get to feel and experience different kinds of situations. And even though I have not experienced a lot of things I've read about in real life, I still know how to look at a situation from a lot of different lenses. Also, of course, my parents, my family has been really supportive, and they've really been interactive and communicative with me whenever I've discussed Biblioverse. And so a lot of clarity of thought also comes from this open communication I have with the adults in my life, which is another thing that is really important. Open communication, going back to the how to inculcate reading and writing point. So I think this clarity is just also driven by the passion that I have. Because
And
when you have,
about the clarity you have around the business, where did you learn? Because I'm sure schools do not teach entrepreneurship. How did you pick that up? Because it's one thing to come up with an idea to start a book club. It's another thing to be really looking at it as a business and running it. There's profitability, there's money involved. Where does that come from? Where did you learn that?
so I actually attended a workshop, an entrepreneurship workshop. It was one conducted by IIT Kharagpur. It was last year in January. A 10-day workshop where they taught us the basics of entrepreneurship. It was a teen-oriented workshop. So I was put in a team of about 5 people, and we had to devise business plans of our own. We had to come up with a business idea. And I think that is my first real exposure to entrepreneurship. I attended that workshop just to try this out because it seemed interesting, but it really opened me up a lot. And then the same year in July, I applied for a startup incubation program, a teen incubation program, and I was selected as the top 20 finalist for the program. And it was a 2-month incubation. We had a mentor. They taught us how to create pitch decks, how to give elevator pitches, how to structure our business, how to create a value proposition. We learned how to create a lean canvas. So a lot of things I learned from these workshops and this incubation program that I was a part of. And that's where the business clarity has come from.
Yeah, and I think it's just so important for schools to also be able to teach certain things like this, or at least provide some platform where children could maybe come up with business ideas and learn how to think through those. Um, Awesome. I don't know. There's so much that I want to chat up with you. But also coming back to something that I very personally am invested in, I love to understand people's relationship with money. Coming back to what She Wealth does. Of course, we're a platform where we educate women, in particular, on financial education. We provide courses that simplify or demystify money. I'm sure, I mean, this could sound a little Greek and Latin to you. Maybe not exactly your word, but yeah, so that's what I do. And I like to pick people's brains on understanding how their relationship with money started. I know you're very young to even, of course, but because you are an entrepreneur, I know that you understand money slightly more than most children your age would. So tell me something. How do you, what is the equation you have with money? What do you feel about money?
So my money, other than what I earn from Biblioverse contests and activities, comes from pocket money from my parents. And money really makes me feel somewhat independent, which I think it does for a lot of people who are, even older than me. I think when I'm able to spend the money that I have, even if it is, pocket money, it feels like it is my money. And then I get to think smartly about where I want to put this money. And that just really gives me a sense of control and independence over not my life, but like just what I can wear, what I can eat. If I feel like I want a cupcake, one day I can, get a cupcake from my pocket money and then note it down. I
And
also think,
do you
yeah,
also do you buy your books on your own? Because I'm sure you read a lot. So
of course I do. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I have a set pocket money amount every month. I'm like, okay, this month I may need to buy so many books. So I'm going to just set this aside for that. And other than that, you might be underestimating me because I'm 16, but I am open to investing money as well. I have been investing in mutual funds since I was 13. And every month I invest 5,000 rupees. I have three mutual funds running, and from time to time, I keep logging into my accounts and checking how much my money has grown. And it really makes me feel very proud of myself because when I talk to my parents, so one day I was talking to my mom, and she told me that the money I'm investing right now, with a 10% increase in the invested amount every year, I could be on my way to creating an $8 million retirement fund for myself. And it was a little overwhelming, but I just felt glad that I had this exposure and that I'm able to do this for myself, because I also know a lot of, women in my family, like my aunts or my grandmothers, who have not been, introduced to investing in the way that I was. And it really helps to have resources and information available to you in the form of trustworthy people who actually do invest. So my parents have been a huge help with that. And yeah, I think money just makes me feel very independent, slightly grown up, freer.
yes, and I think money conversations, they're not so openly talked about. This isn't a topic that parents even broach with their children. But I think it's just so important for for grown-ups like us to do that with our children, because children are going to pick up exactly what you surround them with. So yes, so thank you so much, Anushka. All the best for Biblioverse and all the amazing things that you're doing and that you will do in future. And you're still in school, but I really I hope that this really takes off and becomes a kind of business and initiative and venture that you envision for it. So thank you so much once again for being on this with us, and sharing your journey and things about your startup. Just another thing, if people want to associate with you or join Biblioverse, what is the best way for them to reach you, or either through social media or emails or through your app? If you could just quickly tell us.
we are open to communication on all of our platforms. Our website has a contact page. It has our email on it, which is biblioverse.tuob@gmail.com. It's all on the website. When you download our app, there is, there's a direct chat feature with me, with the Biblioverse account. And of course, again, our email is there as well. We are open on all social media platforms as biblioverse.in on Facebook and Instagram. So you can drop a DM there. You can comment on
And
our
of course,
posts,
you can
let
go
us know something.
and of course, you can go and download the Biblioverse app, which is on Google Play Store as well as
And App Store. Yeah.
an App Store iOS platform. So, thank you so much for sharing all of this with us. All the very best to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.